In the distant future, humanity had reached its technological peak. Space travel had become as routine as flying from one country to another, and humans had set foot on hundreds of planets across the galaxy. But as much as they explored, one mystery remained unsolved: the edge of the universe. The cosmos seemed to stretch forever, and scientists were left puzzled. Was there an end? Or did the universe simply go on infinitely? To answer this, the world's top scientists collaborated to create the most advanced spacecraft ever built, the Quantum Voyager. The Quantum Voyager wasn't just any spacecraft. It was powered by a newly discovered particle known as the quantum filament. Unlike traditional fuel, this particle could bend time and space, allowing the Voyager to travel thousands of light-years in seconds. It was, quite literally, a vessel built to go where no one had gone before. And it had one mission: to reach the edge of the universe. Captain Aaron Hayes, a seasoned explorer with a calm demeanor and an unmatched record of interstellar missions, was chosen to lead the journey. His crew was small but elite. Dr. Leena Patel, a quantum physicist with a fierce intellect, had spent years studying quantum filaments. Lucas Wu, the engineer who had worked on the Quantum Voyager since its inception, knew every nut and bolt of the ship. And finally, Zara King, a psychologist, was there to monitor the mental health of the crew in what was expected to be an unprecedented journey. As the Quantum Voyager launched, Earth watched in awe. The ship quickly moved past familiar territories of space, through nebulae and past distant stars. Every light year brought them further from home, and as they approached the boundary of known space, an eerie silence settled over the crew. They all felt it, the overwhelming sense of stepping into the unknown. One night, about a week into the journey, Dr. Patel detected something unusual. There was a gravitational anomaly a few light-years away, a massive disturbance in space-time that wasn't on any of their charts. The crew grew excited. This could be exactly what they were looking for. Following the anomaly, they adjusted their trajectory and pressed forward. As they got closer, the anomaly came into view. It was like nothing they had ever seen. It looked like a massive tear in the fabric of space, a shimmering portal emitting pulses of blinding blue light. Every scientific instinct told Dr. Patel that entering it was dangerous. But something else, a quiet, irresistible curiosity, drew her closer. After debating for hours, Captain Hayes made the decision: they would go in. As they crossed the threshold, everything went dark. For a few seconds, it felt like they were suspended in time, floating in a void. Then, without warning, they emerged on the other side. What they saw left them speechless. It was a different universe. Stars glowed in strange colors, and massive celestial structures they couldn't even begin to classify floated around them. This was no longer the universe they knew. Why, it was something entirely new. The team quickly realized that they had traveled beyond the edge of their universe and into a parallel dimension. At first, they marveled at this bizarre, beautiful realm. But soon, they discovered something unsettling. The Quantum Voyager's sensors picked up another ship nearby, just like theirs but older, as if it had been adrift for centuries. Its name was faintly visible on the hull: Quantum Voyager 2. Confused, they docked with the ship and boarded it to investigate. Inside, they found signs of a previous crew. Papers, supplies, even personal belongings were scattered about, but there was no sign of life. After searching the ship, they came across the captain's log. As they read through the entries, they were horrified. According to the log, Quantum Voyager 2 had embarked on the exact same mission years before. But the logs became increasingly frantic, detailing strange encounters with beings who lived in this parallel universe. The beings had no physical form, existing only as whispers in the darkness, influencing the crew's thoughts and slowly driving them mad. One by one, the crew had turned on each other, each convinced that the others were conspiring against them. Eventually, they had all perished, trapped in their own minds, unable to escape the alien influence. Just as they finished reading, the lights on their own ship flickered. Captain Hayes felt an odd sensation, a cold shiver running down his spine. Dr. Patel claimed she heard a whisperer, a faint voice calling her name. They tried to brush it off, attributing it to stress, but soon the whispers became louder, echoing through the ship. Each crew member started hearing different things, personal fears, secrets they had never told anyone, whispered back to them. As the days passed, the crew's unity began to unravel. Zara, the psychologist, was the first to be affected. She became convinced that Lucas, the engineer, was sabotaging the ship. Her paranoia grew until she locked herself in her quarters, refusing to let anyone near her. Lucas, in turn, began hearing whispers of his own, voices that taunted him about failures in his past. Captain Hayes tried to keep control, but even he started hearing a familiar voice, one he hadn't heard since childhood or his late mother, warning him of the dangers lurking in the dark. Only Dr. Patel seemed immune. She observed her crewmates, fascinated by their behavior. She began to suspect that the entities weren't attacking her because she was different. She was in tune with the quantum particles that powered their ship. She theorized that these beings were quantum life forms, attracted to the ship's energy source, and that the only way to escape was to stop using the quantum filament. But the others didn't believe her. Each one was too consumed by their own fears. Captain Hayes even accused her of being part of the entity itself, a spy sent to lure them deeper into the void. Desperate and running out of options, Dr. Patel took a risk. She put the Quantum Voyager on autopilot and powered down the quantum filament, plunging the ship into darkness and silence. For hours, nothing happened. The crew, exhausted and drained, sat in the dark, each lost in their thoughts. Then, gradually, the whispers faded. Dr. Patel's gamble had worked. With the filament off, the entities lost interest and drifted away. But now, they were stranded, adrift in an unknown universe with no way home. Dr. Patel proposed using a backup power source to reactivate the filament, but with a twist. Instead of trying to travel back the way they came, she suggested targeting a new destination, the original universe's mirror, hoping it would align them back to their own. The crew reluctantly agreed, knowing it was a gamble with slim chances. Dr. Patel recalibrated the filament, and with a final deep breath, Captain Hayes activated it. The ship shuddered and slipped into another quantum rift, hurtling them through dimensions. When they finally emerged, they saw a familiar sight, Earth, but something was off. As they approached, they realized this Earth was slightly different, with advanced technology surpassing anything they'd known. They docked, disembarked, and were greeted by scientists who knew their names and welcomed them as legends. They had returned to Earth, a broken bar but in a future timeline, one where they had been lost for centuries, inspiring countless missions to solve the mystery of the Quantum Voyager. As they settled into this new Earth, the crew was hailed as pioneers of the unknown. But each of them still heard, in the quiet moments, faint whispers, as if a part of that other universe had followed them back, forever connected across time and space. And so, even as they were celebrated, they lived in suspense, wondering if the journey was truly over or if it had just begun.